What's good? It's your boy Jah'Preme, back again with another video. Need y'all to tune in because today you need to hear this. Over the years, I used to wonder what my problem was with pretending to, social ills. I thought I was socially retarded and I was socially ignorant, but I thought I had the ability to communicate. I thought, it was a plague to not be accepted by certain people. I thought I was doing something wrong because certain people wouldn't accept me and I'm from a certain place. And there's somebody watching this video going through something similar. I thought because I didn't have certain friends, I wasn't cool. Felt guilty. So I started doing with certain people what we're doing in my community. Not everybody, but certain people. The people who I wanted to be, mostly accepted by. And this is something a lot of people won't admit because they still want to be viewed in a certain way or a certain light, pretending to the public eye. But I'm going to tell you something, right? If you're trying to be viewed in a certain light, chances are your light is dimmed. And I dimmed my light for years. I'm talking 20 plus years to be accepted by some people who weren't even people who you need to acknowledge or feel accepted by. These people, they demanded to be acknowledged. These people demanded to be accepted. They hide their true character, and they go with the flow, to impress or to be viewed a certain way. I'm guilty of dimming my light to be with those kind of people or around those kind of people, thinking that because I grew up around those kind of people, that's what I should have been in life, when that's not. It's absolutely false. Then I started to find myself. I had a spiritual intervention when I was 15 years old, right? I was 15 years old, troubled. Most of my friends were grown. Most of the people who I hung with were grown. I didn't even really hang with the niggas my age in my neighborhood. I was hanging with older niggas, from different places in a certain part of my city. I'm not gonna name no names, but they were doing grown man, what I thought was grown man shit. That life is very short lived, and the more you try to fight or get pulled back into that life, the worse your life becomes. But back to my spiritual intervention when I was 15 years old, because I'm not going to jump the gun. I had a spiritual intervention in real life. I had a vision. I was sitting in my grandmother's church, and I had a dream that I was in a casket, and I had on sunglasses, and I had on a gold chain, right? In other words, I had a dream that I was going to get killed. That's what the dream, I was going to get killed. And at this time, around this time in my life, I was participating in and engaging with drug activities and drug dealing. Drug dealing for over half of my life is something that has been a fight. Um, it's nothing to brag about, but it's something that I'm good at. And, you know, when you engage with or make amends with the author of confusion, the devil, Zeus, your life seems like, less worries. It seems like less worries. The money you want, the dope you want, all of those things he'll make readily available to you because you are making a soul contract or a spiritual connection or a spiritual agreement. Not necessarily verbal, not necessarily written. Talking to what pertains to the spiritual world. You're making a spiritual agreement, which is a contract. It's a bind to be employed under Zeus, Satan, the devil. And when you make this contract, it comes with dire consequences. You sacrifice your life, your time. You sacrifice not being in your children's life. You sacrifice your life path that you were chosen to commit to. You sacrifice your well-being. You're always paranoid. You're always not trusting anybody. But yet you have money, yet you have fame, yet anything you want is readily available to you, and you're thinking that's a good thing. And some people, especially spiritual chosen people, who wrestle with this, who are still participating, straddling the fence with that lifestyle, they know that it's not a good thing, but they feel like it's the best for the time being, and it's not. You're better doing away with that lifestyle. But back to when I was 15 and I had that spiritual intervention. It was an altar call at the church after I had this vision that I was going to die. And I felt like if I didn't go to that altar call and receive the prayer and accept the call, that I would have got killed. And you know what's crazy about that? It convicted me, but I still wrestle with it. All of the friends or the people that I looked up to that were in the game, slowly but surely as time progressed, they started getting knocked off. They started getting killed. And the people that killed them and knocked them off were not strangers. So that's where the trust element comes in, that you can't trust anybody. I started realizing when I started shining my light instead of dimming it, that the people who that I accepted, not necessarily as friends, but accepted their company and accepted as associates, I started noticing that the kind of snakes they were. Because once you distance yourself away from what you once made a spiritual agreement to commit to, whether you did that verbally or not, once you shy away from it, once you walk away from it, you start to see the truth. And you start to see things for what they really are. So I had this intervention and I started walking the path. Bro, I'm talking about I'm 15, 16 years old, praying constantly, reading the Bible constantly. I mean, constantly. My mom even looked at me and was like, wow. It's like I made a 360. I didn't want to be what I was becoming anymore. I wanted to be something different. But here's how it hit me. Around the time it was time for me to get out of school, which I didn't graduate from a regular school. I went to a program to graduate. And since I didn't pass the FCAT, I didn't receive a diploma. But anyways, a childhood friend of mine also went to that school, who passed away. Well, that's one of the friends that passed away. That was one of the true friends that passed away. I started seeing like, man, such and such died. Damn, such and such got 30 years, such and such got 50 years, such and such got 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. They were handing out sentences like hot plates. They were getting caskets like crazy. They were filling caskets like crazy, especially around 2007. And this is around the time that my light was shining, but I was entering my adult life. I started not liking being wiser and, more enlightened than my peers because I felt like it was a bad thing. And I felt like I was shitting on them. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was shitting on them. I felt like I was talking down on them when the whole time what God was showing me was He made me to be a unique being. He made me to be peculiar. And I didn't accept it as that because most of my peers didn't understand the journey or the path that was meant for me. So I started dimming my light again. Here come the streets again. Here come the drugs again. Here come the problems again. Here comes the alcohol again. Everything that I shied away from as a teenager, I started young. Everything that I had walked away from as a teenager walked right back into my life. It was like a revolving door because I did not fully accept the path that was chosen for me because I felt like I was shitting on the people that I loved and came up with. If you're young and you're watching this video, I want to let you know that you're not shitting on your peers because you're more enlightened and you're peculiar. It's necessary for you to be who you are. And if those people do not accept you, they can say negative slurs, they could talk sideways. You know, that's what they did to me. Talk sideways, make indirect statements, talk the angles, basically showing that they didn't like me simply because of who I was. I write poetry. I wasn't writing the typical street shit, the drug trap shit. I wasn't writing that. I was writing real poetry to heal and enlighten people. And that's when you need to realize when the people who you love and cherish start talking in those angles indirectly and you feel like they're talking about you but they're not addressing you, those people are dark empaths. Their lights aren't dim, they don't have any. You're dimming your light and choosing to engage in darkness when you choose to participate in the activities and festivities that those dark empaths choose to participate in, right? And you can feel it because you grow old, not necessarily in age, just the lifestyle itself grows old and old and old. And the more you fight and the more you keep accepting the darkness, your light will be taken away from you, as it was almost taken away from me completely, right? So don't let that revolving door be part of your life story as it is mine. Especially if you're, 18, 19, 20 years old and you're watching this video, let me tell you something, man. People have no right or reason to judge who you are, including myself, because I can wrongly speak on certain people and their situations and not understand them. We all can. But I put myself in the forefront. That's part of being a leader, right? They have no reason to judge you if they don't understand your life path. And they have no reason to speak against you if they don't know you spiritually. And we make ourselves dark empires when we judge wrongly, and we're not wise judges of cat. My friends weren't wise judges of cat. Yes, they were in the streets. Yes, they were getting money. Yes, they knew how to survive the streets. But the streets is a dark empath lifestyle. That doesn't make you wise. That just means you can survive being a dark empath and a dark empath lifestyle. That doesn't make you smart. That just means you're sharp when it comes to being a dark empath when you're supposed to accept the light. Whatever lifestyle you choose, you know, when people laugh at you, when people throw slurs at you, show unnecessary hate towards you, simply accept those people for who they are. Do not let them stop your journey. Do not let those people stop you from being enlightened and accepting the light within you. Do not dim your light. And that is what I've just recently, not too long ago, fully accepted. But if I didn't accept it, I'd be comfortable around dark empaths. And I was not meant to be a dark empath. Whatever wrong you've done, right, and people speak on, proudly speak on, just know that those same people have something within them or has done certain acts or done certain things that are spiritual violations that you don't know about. Just because you don't know about them does not mean that they have not committed those sins or spiritual violations. Do not let people write your book to make you try to dwell in the misery and guilt for the rest of your life. We all have the same creator. Whether we're good, whether we're evil, we have the same creator. Do not let people throw you off of your path. I'm guilty. I let people throw me off of my path. And I didn't like being talked about. I didn't like feeling weird, or I didn't like feeling, like I didn't fit in. So I went along with the bullshit. And it comes with a cost, and it comes with a consequence. You would rather be talked about. You would rather be condemned. You would rather be lied on and falsely persecuted by the masses than to follow them and be comfortable around them and comfortable with their traditions. Don't fall for it. It's a setup. And they don't even realize that their vessels are being used by the director of dark empathy, the director, the leader of the dark empires. They don't even know they're being used to do that, because that's how the devil works. We are vessels. We're just like those machines in the warehouses. We're just like those cars. We are human machines. That's what the vessel is. A vessel is a human machine. We are made to be used. You choose whether to be used for darkness or for light. those machines come with souls, spirits. And if we do not guard ourselves from certain spirits and souls, then we'll end up in the misery and guilt and won't even realize it because it will become normal and customized to us. I'm here to tell you, if you're on the fence and you're wondering whether you should continue the light path, you should. That's where you're questioning it. Anything you have to question, anything that feels uncomfortable, you should. I know you feel uncomfortable. I know your friends don't accept you for who you are, or how you live, or how you choose to think, or how you choose to walk. Question really is, are they really your friends? Question is, are those really friends and homeboys are two different things. But both can be released and both can be cut off. Your homeboys, homegirls, your friends and associates, if they don't accept the same path you accept, just love them from a distance and keep it moving. You don't owe them anything. Even if you do owe them a little $50, $60, $100, they're not tripping off of that. As long as you choose to be miserable with them, and as long as you choose to dwell in misery with them, they're not tripping off of that. Because the evil one got what he wants. He assigned them to you so that you could become one of them. And that your light won't shine and it will be dim. And the world won't accept you. And the world won't change. And the people won't break from tradition. And the masses won't know the truth from the lies and the programming. Don't question yourself, man. Just get away from what you had to question. If you had to question the people that you're around, those are not the people you need to be around. And that's what I had to learn. And I just not too long ago learned all of this. Accept you for who you are, not accept them for who they are. Accept you for who you are. And when you accept you for who you are, you won't have to accept them. Accept it. It feels weird. It feels uncomfortable. It feels like that. You'll feel picked on. But always remember the story of Jesus. The masses didn't accept him. The government didn't accept him. They persecuted him. They executed him publicly and embarrassed him and attempted to humiliate him by beating him naked until he was marred, meaning no facial recognition, no body recognition. Meat hanging out, bleeding, dripping. Then, to top it all off, they put a crown of thorns in his head. You had to accept the persecution. Accept it. You might get killed. You might get jailed. You might be talked about, all kind of scandals, all kind of lies, all kind of BS will be thrown your way. But when you choose to stand in the midst of it, without your light being dimmed, and still shine bright, and still fight the good fight, the righteous fight, that's what matters in the end. That's why the Bible tells us to remember my death and suffering, not my birthday. Christmas is for kids, alright? His persecution and his death, because his death represents who he was. You heard? Like his death, the persecution, the whole beating, the whole accepting being marred, no facial recognition, the crown of thorns pressed in his head, and the nails in his hands and feet. It represents what he stood for. I'm not willing to follow y'all. fuck y'all. I'm not gonna follow y'all. And this, if you don't understand it like this, then please just let those who understand it like this accept it like this. Fuck y'all. I'm not gonna follow y'all. Fuck the bullshit. I'd rather die like this than to be one of you, because I accept who I am. Because I am that I am. And this is your boy Jah'Preme Speaks. Signing off. Peace.